All right, why don't we start with Alphabet? I think a lot of people see Alphabet as potentially a tipping point in this market, either to go, further to the upside or maybe even kind of take a leg on the downside. I'm looking at the estimates for the cloud business. The estimate's about 26% growth year over year. For the ad business, it's around 7%. Is it good enough for Alphabet to meet those metrics, or do you need to see not only a beat but also a raise of guidance?
No, I don't think so. I think meeting those estimates should be good enough. Really, it's going to be a test on the health of the economy. So long as ad dollars are flowing, and the health of the semi market in terms of where the CapEx spend is. The real question for Google is, what is going to happen with their search business? Are they going to be able to reaccelerate that business with their AI efforts? So I think a lot of the qualitative commentary around that front will be even more critical than the numbers themselves. So I think the setup is pretty good here for Alphabet. We own it, and we like it.
All right, so you're mentioning CapEx. Are they going to be benefited for spending? Are they going to benefit from spending a lot on CapEx? Or are we starting to see maybe some signs that people feel like there's an AI overbuild, if you will? We had Jeff Sonnenfeld from Yale with the Yale CEO caucus. He said about 40% of CEOs believe there might be too much hype and there's an overinvestment there.
Yeah, I really don't think so. I think that AI is going to be even more profound than most expect. So I think the investments are justified. I think the real question is, I think a lot of investors also expect, the CapEx numbers to be elevated. I think the real question is, will that pace remain elevated, or will it start to gradually come down? So less about Alphabet itself and more about the semi industry as a whole and the growth rates that they can achieve.
Let's move on to Tesla. We already know Q2 deliveries, they're down 14%. Is all the bad news already priced into this stock, or can it move lower on these results? And what do you think happens on this conference call? Can that just kind of reinstill confidence in this name? Is there something that Elon Musk can say about the robotics business or the robotaxi business that can kind of turn its fortunes around?
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. When we look at Tesla, I think when you look at the market broadly speaking, volatility has increased and will continue to increase higher from here. And you got to take shorter duration outlooks on a lot of these tech names. And I think Tesla is one that is an exception to the rule, where you have to take a longer term horizon. Obviously, you have the Elon factor and the headline risk associated with that. I think the numbers are expected to be poor. I think everyone knows that. I think the optionality around robotics, robotaxi, is why you invest in the stock, because competition is certainly not letting up on the auto front. We own it for the long term. There is going to be volatility with this. I think the results and the interpretation of the results is going to be polarized. The bulls pointing to the optionality, and the bears pointing to the declining estimates over the short term. So, your guess is as good as mine how the stock reacts, but we own it for the long term.